I finished a total of 11 books in March. 6 of them were ebooks and 5 of them were physical books. The genres ranged from thriller to dystopian to some romance books and even some horror books. I am a notorious mood reader. I do have a special announcement about the horror books, but until then, let's get into it. A beautifully designed cover is going to do it for me every time. This cover is absolutely stunning, and I love that it's super symbolic to the plot of the story. Chloe is about a chef who every year in the summer gets to work for an affluent black family in Martha's Vineyard, all inclusive, all expenses paid. Based off of that alone, she should be having no problems, but that's not the case in this book. She meets and falls for this black billionaire whose first wife passed away under mysterious circumstances. But the more questions she starts to ask, the more he becomes less charming. By the way, if anyone watching this is a millionaire or knows someone who's a millionaire and has a summer house in Martha's Vineyard and is looking for an in-home massage therapist with entire summer availability, hit me up. Anyway, this book is all summer and sunshine and rainbows until it isn't. It goes from a summer romance to something deeply disturbing. And all of the characters are black, and it's a really good time. 40 Acres by Dwayne Alexander Smith is one of those books that you go, what the fuck did I just read when you are done? Because I had no idea the book was going to go that left. You kind of get an idea of what the book is going to be about by the synopsis, and maybe the cover too, now that I'm thinking about it. It's about a young black lawyer who's invited to go on a trip with the most elite black men in the society. And when he gets there, he finds out quickly that things are not what he expected them to be, and he finds himself on the run for his life. This is a thriller book that builds on a medium to fast pace. There's a great foundation laid, and when the book really starts to climax, the author is relentless. He won't let you come down from that climax until you've turned the last page. This book does contain a lot of content and trigger warnings, so if you are sensitive, I would definitely suggest you read those before you start this book. This is not a ghost story. It's by A. Marie, the Grammy Award nominated R&B singer turned best-selling author. I don't quite know if she's really best-selling, but I know she will be after this book comes out because this book is a future bestseller. This book is expected to be released on June 10th of this year, so I can't really talk too much about it, but I will say it will be one of my top reads of the year. It was good. I'll just read the synopsis since I can't really talk about it. John's house provides all he needs. Surrounded by a vast, beautiful ocean under a void of sky, the house is John's haven. He is alone but never lonely. He is here now, but neither remembers nor longs for a before. In his house, John is safe and untroubled, but then a terrible shadow creature breaks in and wants him out. Pushed from the house, John falls into the light and finds himself in modern-day Los Angeles, the first person to ever come back from the other side. Though he has no memory of his past life or how he even died, everyone wants to know more about the black man who has returned from the dead. Is he the second coming? A hoax, or something beyond explanation? Soon he has brand deals, TV interviews, and politicians aiming to use him for their agendas, yet all John wants is to go home. But going home will require, most unfortunately, help. In search of a way back, John grudgingly joins forces with a mystic holding dubious qualifications, a hard-edged publicist bent on making him famous, and an aspiring actress who is unsettlingly familiar. With this ragtag band of allies, John begins to find his journey back to his house on the ocean. But getting there will prove more complicated than he imagined. This may be one of the only books I've seen around a lot that actually lives up to the hype. And let me just say that I go into books off synopsis alone. I don't pay attention to ratings and reviews. It's the vibes for me. First, I love the cover of this book. It's simple, but it really stands out, and yellow is my favorite color. The picture is also very symbolic of something that happens in the book. It just works really well. The book itself is very bold. The synopsis gives you an idea of what the book is overall about, but it doesn't really prepare you for what to expect in this book. This book is brutal. There's nonstop action, there's gut-wrenching injustice, and there's even a bit of a love story. It's basically about a highly popular gladiator style fighting competition within an unjust prison system, told in multiple points of view. Overall, it comes together so well, but I will caution you that listening to the audiobook version can be a little daunting because there are a lot of excerpts and commentary intertwined within the paragraphs that, if you aren't really paying attention, can throw you off. But overall, this book was a very good time, and it's a book that I would like to see as a movie or a TV show. It definitely lives up to all the hype that you've been seeing about this book all over. And again, I don't usually fall for the hype, but the hype for this book was or is well deserved. Definitely try to give this one a read. Losing Sight was a super cute romantic comedy about a sports anchor and an optometrist. It's a romantic comedy with a little supernatural element to it, which I absolutely love. I also love that the main characters are in their 40s. I'm so done with characters in their teens and 20s in romance books. No offense to anyone, I'm just over it. This was a very realistic story about a sports anchor at the pinnacle of her career who is kind of but not really looking for love and develops a situation with her best friend's cousin who is also her optometrist. Then there is a matter of a magical pair of glasses that come into her possession and helps her see what's in front of her. The story was fun to read, very lighthearted, and also very adult. Lots of grown folks business in this book, and it wasn't the entire focus of the story, which makes it even better. An Axe for a Hammer is a prequel novella to the third book in the Heroes Equinox series, aka TJ Young and the Orishas, which is a YA fantasy based on West African mythology, and it's really good. If you've read book two, you know that something happened right at the end. An Axe for a Hammer occurs in conjunction to the later part of book two of TJ Young and the Orishas. So I can't really tell you much about it without spoiling it, but I can tell you about the cover and what it's basically about. So on the cover, you have the Orisha Shango, who is associated with thunder and lightning and fire. And in this novella, he is BFFs with Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning, who is also pictured on the cover. And together they battle evil forces, but somehow Thor dies and Shango is being blamed for it. And that's where we are in this book. It's short, and the author's storytelling is always a bit sluggish at first, but when it picks up, it picks up. You definitely need to read this before going into book three, which is out now. Power Play is book one of the Black Stocking Society series by Dara Gerard, who is one of my favorite Black romance authors. And this book was a bit of a palate cleanser for me, especially after reading Chain Gang All Stars and 40 Acres. So I really wasn't expecting too much. Just a simple love story with a beginning, a middle, a third act breakup, and an end, which is exactly what I got in this book. This book is an enemies to lovers story about a woman who is often overlooked at work and underappreciated at home. And she joins this secret society that helps her take back her control, much to the shock of her co-workers, especially her new boss, who had previously cost her a promotion. I love that Dara Gerard uses unconventional female main characters in her stories with normal, everyday jobs and quirky habits and hobbies. It makes her stories so interesting and a little unpredictable. So, in addition to those 7 books I just talked about, I read 4 books this month that were all Black horror. Horror is not only my favorite genre to watch, but has become my favorite genre to read as well. And I feel like it's a genre that gets better and better over time. It's so much that can be explored with horror, and there are Black authors out here doing it. Horror is something I'm very passionate about, and I want to be able to share that. So I'll be starting a new series this month called Sunday Horror Diaries, or On Sunday She Reads Horror, something like that. I haven't really decided yet, but every-ish Sunday I'll have a video out that highlights Black horror literature and maybe media too. And again, this Sunday's video, fingers crossed, will feature the 4 horror books that I read in March. All by Black authors, all very different, but all really good. And all books I've never seen talked about on Book Talk or Bookstagram. So I hope you tune in. I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I want you to come along with me.